You hear about slavery for 400 years. For 400 years, that sounds like a choice. Like, you was there for 400 years and it's all of y'all?
What up, y'all? Michael, Unconventional Thought. I hope you can't hear that little bit of street noise. I got the window open because for some reason it's hot in here. But we're here to talk about that phrase uttered by Kanye West that got a lot of people in uproar. Slavery was a choice. I actually heard this uttered by a YouTuber years before Kanye said it. And I always thought, well, obviously that's true. I didn't really understand why it was so controversial and why, people had such an issue when people were getting pissed about it. I just couldn't figure it out. And I would talk to people and have conversation, and people would just get more and more upset during that conversation. And I'm like, I don't understand why people are upset about it. And I saw these memes online where people will have like an image of like a boat, and a sign is like, get on the boat to become a slave or something. And people are like, yeah, sign me up. And they thought that was clever. And I didn't get it. I just thought it was ridiculous. And then something occurred to me. A thought popped in my head. And I think I understand why that's so controversial. And it comes down to a misunderstanding of one key word, and that word is choice. Let's look at one definition of the word choice. An act of selecting or making a decision when faced with two or more possibilities. Anytime we use the word choice, it almost always means something that we want, or something, of more than one thing that we prefer. Like, what do you want to eat tonight? You want lobster or you want steak? I had lobster like a couple of days ago. You know what? Yeah, I think I want some steak. I'll mess with some steak today. That's something that person wants, or between the two, at least they want it between the other choices. And it's like they kind of wanted it in some way or another. It's like, or I had, these different women that were trying to get with me. They wanted to marry me. So I chose Betty, it's like I wanted Betty.
Yeah. So then he gets really good at basketball, and then blah, 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 blah. Fast forward, at the heart of the story, Tony has to choose between his mom.
Choose.
Yeah, choose is when you have to make a decision between two things you want, but you can have only one.
But there's two.
When we think of choice, we think of something we want. That's not what choice means. It simply means more than one option. If you are convicted of a felony or you're convicted of murder and the judge says you've been convicted of murder, you've been sentenced to death, you can either get like lethal injection or the gas chamber. And you know what the gas chamber smells like? Pine oil. But anyway, it just means that you have more than one choice, and it doesn't have to be a good choice. Both can be bad. One can be good. One can be bad. It has nothing to do with good or bad. It just means more than one option. No matter what, if you have more than one option, that is a choice. So I think that's one of the reasons why it bothers so many people, because when we think of choice, we think of something we want. It's like, no one wanted that. Well, that's not what that statement means. And I think another reason why it's so controversial is that a lot of times when people say it, there's judgment. Like, oh, that was a choice. You could have made a better choice. Like when people like Kanye say it, I hear judgment. And the people who make these judgments, like basically saying they made the wrong choice, they don't know what the hell they would have done in that situation. When somebody's like telling you, do this or I'm going to kill you, and everyone that you love, your kids, your significant other, your parents, whatever, you don't know what the hell you're going to do. So there's no judgment when I make that statement. It's just a statement of fact. And the actual statement, there is no judgment in it. Just there are idiots who do assign judgment to it. And these people don't even know what the hell they would do if they were faced with that same choice. So what are the choices? Again, It doesn't have to be, they don't have to be good choices. But anytime a person tries to make another person or people do something they don't want to do, there are two choices: to comply or resist. You don't know what's going to happen in either situation, as a result. I could, put a gun to someone's head and say, give me your wallet, or I'm going to blow your head off. And then they decide to comply. And I could laugh and say, ha, I'm just fucking with you, man, and then run off. Or they can resist and, they call me on my bluff and I get scared and then I run away and I don't do anything. You don't know what's going to happen if you comply or resist, but those are your choices. Of course, if somebody, says they're going to levy some type of penalty if you resist, that's what would make you consider doing this thing you don't want to do. But either way, no matter what you do, you have made a choice. And again, it doesn't have to be good. And when I say that, when I make that statement, there's no judgment in there. Whatever you do, you do. And I assume you did it for good reason, or a reason that you felt were good reasons. That's not for me to say. All I'm saying is that, just because I'm big on words, what the word means and what that statement means is a statement of fact. And when I say it, there's no judgment there. It's just what it is. Of course, there were people who fought along the way, but, some people made the choice, but they could have been, like thinking about their kids. I can do this so that my kids, like, maybe this will change soon. Maybe we'll revolt later on and my kids will have a chance to live, their free life like we're supposed to. I don't know why people made the choice they did, and I don't blame them. There are some good reasons why you might comply, at least at that time. It's a whole nother discussion. But is the statement true? Yes, it is. And that doesn't mean that I think that the people who became slave laborers made the wrong choice. And I'm not judging them. I don't know what I would do. And the people who do judge, when they say something like that, I think they're idiots. But anyway, all right. So yeah, that's all I want to say about that. Just more unconventional thought about the phrase "slavery was a choice." Michael, I'm out.